A lot of Christians talk about this verse here when it comes to any topic of immigration. And I agree, that is an awesome verse, and it tells us as Christians we should be kind and loving to any type of immigrant in our country as long as they're there legally. But with that being said, there are a few other points to this conversation I wanted to add. First off, Bible's never a fan of open borders for a country, right? If you've read the Bible, you'll know that there is the book of Nehemiah, which is a book fully devoted to God's command towards Israel to rebuild the walls of their nation when they were coming back from Babylon. Actually, this was one of the first things God had them do when they were coming back to rebuild their nation. So it must have been pretty important to him. Also, we see from God that there is a belief, and Christians hold this belief as well because it's from God, that some cultures and societies are better or worse than others. If you don't believe me, just look at the story of Sodom and Gomorrah back in Genesis. Many times, especially in the Old Testament, God condemns really secular cultures. So it's a big theme of the Bible. We especially see this in the book of Exodus, chapter 23, where God commands Moses and the people of Israel that they should not allow the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Hivites into their land under any circumstances. And guess what? The land actually belonged to them before God took it and gave it to Israel ultimately in the end as the promised land. So even though this land did belong to the people, God expelled them because they were so secular, they were so anti-God, and he tells Israel, do not under any circumstances let them back in. And yet so many Christians have problems that Christian Europeans came to America and we took land that was from secular Indian cultures that hated God and practiced, sacrificing and murder. And yet that's an issue when God commands Israel to do the same thing in Exodus. So all that being said, Christians, we should welcome legal immigration from countries that are supportive of biblical values. But at the same time, we need to be careful not to allow immigration from countries that are at war with biblical values, because those are ultimately the values that this country is founded on and why it has been so prosperous the past few hundred years.